Hey, bienvenidos, mi gente linda. Welcome in, my beautiful people. It is playoff Saturday, wild card Saturday for the Houston Texans taking on the 11 and 6 LA Chargers in a shocker. Didn't think that they would be here at this point of the season, but here we are playing some great football. They're on a 3-game win streak coming into H-Town. All that plus a special guest. We preview the game, talk a little bit of crap, maybe not. We'll see what happens, but we're going to preview the matchup, give you all the good stuff here on the Gen Wealth Network and the H Town Huddle. Doing it live for you guys right before the game's about to kick off. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I'm Tex forever.
All these structures make me anxious. Look, I'm just tryna you, not them hoes you came with. Pull up on 6, low, loud and banging. Yeah, Texas forever, still twisting my fingers. Texas forever, you speaking my language. Look, all in the day, but Wednesday. Out in the field trying to score me a deal. Put my name by that X like I'm Kimbe. I do it off of my team, just a young covered in green like I'm Jende. We ain't compadres, comprende. Clutch city, crush city, whatever you call it. I stay with my friends, stay hands in, never hand out. Look, I had to go get it, my everybody say I'm the man now. Wrist moving in and out the kitchen, my might pull up on 6 in the whipping it. I'm just a young getting it. All I had was the pot I was pissing in. Now everybody want pieces, percentages. I'm just trying to get my niggas over. I did the work that they won't. All this money, cash, cars, clothes, hoes coming in fast, but I'm sipping slow. Cause it's Texas forever. You already know. It's more down that
Tex forever.
And we're back with another edition of the H-Town Huddle. Hopefully not the last, but we'll see how that plays out later on this afternoon. Thank you guys for tuning in, showing up and showing out for the show and the channel GWN Network. Make sure you guys are checking out the mothership with all the other cool shows that we do. My other brother, oh, and all my cut out there for a second, and all my other brothers, doing their thing. We got the Wake Your Game Up. We got the OJ and a Blunt show. Everybody else, hope you guys tuned into that one this morning. That one was fun. And supporting me on peacockmerch.com. Make sure you're heading out over there, picking up some cool gear. But we're here to talk about the NFL playoff game, and I have a special guest with me today. It's the ear of the streets, everybody. Your favorite Charger, Lee. What is up, brother?
Oh, what's up, Peacock?
It's
game day for us, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're donning your official Chargers gear right there, my friend. Wearing the powder blues today. I'm in my deep pitch.
You got your deep blues, yep.
Yeah, my pitch blues. So here we are, matching hats and whatnot. So we coordinated well. I know you're excited. Hey, we're here. The good news is 18 other teams have already booked their trips to Cancun and other parts of Mexico, and they're chilling out while the Texans and the Chargers are still
dancing.
That's right. 14 teams left in this one. I know that you and I are just probably hoping for a good game, hope that our best versions of our teams show up and we have something very entertaining to watch. So, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But I know that there's going to be some fears, and so I'll kick off a segment, and I'll give you an example, and then I'll throw it back to you, and you kind of maybe give me your opinion on your team side of it. So, my biggest fear for the Houston Texans is necessarily the offense not showing up like they have in some games here in the past. So, obviously, one of the biggest flaws for Houston has been their offensive line, the shuffling of the offensive line, and then that in turn leading over to CJ Stroud's struggles this season, the sophomore slump, and injuries aside, the loss of the receivers that they lost during the course of the year and the shuffling of offensive linemen, Kenyon Green going on IR. Thank goodness, actually. But, they're here, right? And now it's a new season, a new slate. And I think that that's the attitude that they're probably going to try to lean on here. It's a new slate, 0-0. We're going to start fresh, hopefully pick it up and start the season new with a new type of attitude and try to get that offense moving. But like I said, it all starts with that offensive line. If they can give the run game going. That way they don't become one-dimensional, because we know that Joe Mixon is an explosive running back, a really good player, and he's versatile. So they haven't been using him much in the pass game. Maybe if they could mix him in there, do that, give CJ work the play action. We know Bobby Slowick's been kind of dull and predictive with his play calling, a lot of runs on first and second down. So they have to figure out a way, I think, in my opinion, to get Joe Mixon involved, not be so predictable, and then that way it turns into some play action opportunities, so CJ Stroud can have time to throw the ball down the field. Nobody else outside of Nico Collins really a threat in the passing game, so that kind of helps, leans in the Chargers' favor. But it should be, I think both of these teams match up very well, but just off the start for me, that's probably my biggest thing that I'm looking at and worried about as far as what my team brings to the table. They need to show up on offense, because if they don't, it could be a very long game versus the number one scoring defense in the Los Angeles Chargers, who I think they only allow, or they're averaging something like 17 points per game allowed to opposing teams. So now I'll turn it over to you. And is there anything that you think that you're worried about?
My scariest thing is Hunter and Will Anderson. We gotta keep Herbert's jersey clean. Bottom line, if our line does not show up, it could be a long game. That defense, you guys have been decimated by injuries, but when that defense is healthy, it's one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah,
very true. I mean, they are finally actually healthy for this one. I think it's the first time they get their full front seven back, and the return of Christian Harris. So we may see Christian Harris and Azeez Al-Shire on the field for the first time all season here in week 1 of the playoffs. So
and the Chargers are not the best at the run, are against the run. So that I know our history. The history of the run. We give up booty with the run.
Pause. Yeah, and that's
what I'm trying to say?
No.
So basically, Mixon does scare me, because the Texans never had a running back like Mixon.
Now it's been a while. Since the days of maybe
Mixon,
Foster.
I was like, God damn, man, that's scary.
Yeah,
and he's a veteran. He's got leadership. He knows how to play in these games. So yeah, we gotta be on our A game for this one. So I look at your defense, keeping Herbert jersey clean and the run. So those are my two concerns. If we can keep Herbert jersey clean, I like our chances. But I do think it with CJ, he can put this game into a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Now, it depends. It depends on how are we going to start off with the run. Are we going to go with JK? Are we going to mix it up? Or are we going to throw? Because you never know what Herbert you're going to get. You never know what Jim's going to throw at you.
Yeah, Herbert's been very consistent. He's been playing very well as of late. Obviously, the last 2 games, not super tough defenses to go against, but performing above expectation against those defenses, putting up good points. So it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of the NFL pundits or analysts or whatever were leaning in the direction of the Chargers. I think that on MGM Bet MGM in Vegas, the line was at 2.5, but I think it was 3 mostly everywhere else. And it's going to be interesting. It's definitely, hopefully it'll be a close game. I've seen it where, a team gets kind of, down a couple of scores or something like that. But I don't think that the caliber of these teams against each other will let that happen. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think either team is going to just come out and blow another team out unless something happens on the defensive side, right? The Chargers get set up with a pick. CJ turns the ball over. I don't see Herbert doing that either. The defense is really good. They're 4th in the league in pressures, and so it's going to be a battle. It's definitely going to be a battle.
It's going to be a great game. And if we get both these quarterbacks, they could basically put up some good points today. That defense is solid, but I know what CJ can do. So people sleep on him because of the year he's had, but we saw what he did last year. So I'm not sleeping on CJ Stroud.
That's another.
I
good
know
point.
what he's capable of doing. And
I think I'm sleeping on CJ a little bit. I'm wearing his jersey today, but
don't think I don't see that. Okay, I saw CJ last year. I saw him in the playoff. He kept it with Mahomes. So basically, that's my rival. And if he can play with Mahomes, he can play with anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I'm not looking at the year he's had his injuries. Herbert's had, luckily knock on wood, we haven't had the injuries that the Texans have had. But I know what CJ is capable of. I'm not going to knock your team. I'm not going to dog them. I'm going to admit I know what he's capable of.
It's gonna be an interesting game.
Exactly.
I'm pretty excited.
So
I've been getting pumped up for it lately.
I'm one to smack talk all you. You know me. I'll smack talk all I want. But I'm also gonna admit when I know what my team's against and I know what CJ is capable of, because I've seen him play against Mahomes, and Mahomes is bar none the best out there right now. If you can play with Mahomes, you can play with anybody.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the Chargers face the Chiefs. So, it's in the division, so they've had some stiff competition there. The Texans, the last time they faced the Chiefs, they were kind of trailing most of the game, but they ended up losing by 8. They kept it close. A couple plays, away from making some things. Mahomes doing his Mahomes things to frustrate the heck out of you, and some of the calls going this way and not your way, right?
Yeah, the refs in his back pocket, as we say, right?
But yeah, let's shout out some of the guys in the chat. Shout out to Derek, of course, as always, pumping us up and wishing both our teams good luck here.
Yeah.
Cap for Life, shout out to Cap for Life. Yeah, we are playing each other, the Chargers and Texans. This is the first time I believe they meet in the playoffs. And
they're meeting the playoffs. The last time we faced each other was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think Davis Mills and company was. We didn't have a great team at that time, but it was still. I think if you look at the highlight intro video, there is a clip that I put in there that Dameon Pierce had a one long run from that game where he broke out, and he had one of those last week too. Let's see if he gets some carries in this game. Like you said, I think that's true. That's if there's something the Texans need to lean into, it might be the run game and get some kind of big plays going.
Because Pierce had a hell of a game last week. So that one, if you get a Pierce that had played last week, that's a hell of a 1-2 punch, especially against a team not great against the run.
And that's something I think the Texans thought they were going to have all season, but they it kind of just it didn't really turn out that way because the offense didn't get moving the way they thought. So Dameon Pierce didn't get the opportunities to get in there. Plus, he had a little spell in this part of the season where he missed 4 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Weeks,
so they didn't place him directly on the IR, and they did the same thing with with Joe Mixon with the ankle. But we saw that since he came back from the ankle injury, Joe Mixon in the run game hasn't been super effective. Last week, the starting offense had a little bit of a run, but they didn't get much play. They had a good opening drive versus the Titans, and then they kind of rested the rest of the way. Hold on one second.
No problem.
Sorry, my son was like knocking on the door. I'm literally doing a show, buddy. But yeah, as I was saying, they were able to get him going. Mixon's been involved. I think if you can get Mixon involved with some checkdowns also, like we haven't seen any checkdowns from CJ Stroud. He's been hanging in the pocket under duress, trying to throw things away, turning the ball over more than usual, either with like a strip fumble occasionally or an errant throw here or there, being knocked off his game with a happy feet. So they definitely need to figure out a way to alleviate some of that pressure, maybe lean into that run like we were talking about. And then get into the play action. And I think that on the opposite side, the Chargers do all of that very well. They're going to get positive plays. I don't know how they're going to attack, like you said, with the running backs, but I feel like the play action, the play calling over there is just better. Justin Herbert, even though, it's Ladd McConkey versus like Nico Collins, really. And then that's about it. Even though Quentin Johnson had a big game last week, I don't know if
Quentin Johnson's going to play.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins has been clear to play. So and we did not elevate Ezekiel. Oh, thank you, God.
Zeke is not elevated. Okay, there you go. I said it in the chat. I was like, I hope they give him 20 carries.
I saw that. I'm like, amen. He wasn't elevated.
Shout out to Riggin for Fatties out there. Appreciate you, bro. He says,
"What up, Chris?
Texans have a lot to prove." Yeah, I believe they do. And it's been like the story. They've known they've been in the playoffs at this seed. Not a lot can change for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's like, can they just flip a switch? I've never been a proponent of saying that that's what they do. But when push comes to shove, we saw them do it a little bit last year versus the Browns when everybody picked the Browns to win the wild card game, and then they completely blew them out. And then they had a game versus the Colts in the playoffs where they kind of jumped out to an early lead, and then they were able to pretty much hold on. But
they just said John Mechie is going to be a game time decision.
Oh wow! And I thought he was going to be able to go.
Also, Tegan Quintario.
Yeah, he's a backup tight end.
He's been ruled out.
Yeah, Quinton Terriano. I think he had like a calf injury. He was like elevated, and then I was like, oh shoot, this guy, I haven't seen him all year, and then they ended up, activating him or something, or using him for this week. But
from the looks of it, looks like both of our teams are going to be pretty healthy going into
this game. That's what I was going to say. I think you guys on the defensive side are finally a little healthier. I think that your tackles were a little bit banged up, but they're good to go.
Yeah, Slater was banged up, but they're all good to polish and go. Looks like it, yeah.
Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt. But yeah, like I said, good to go. That's going to be stuff to watch, right? Rookie versus, Daniil. Like you said, another key point, right? The thing that you're kind of worried about, Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson off the edge. But I think you guys have really good tackles, and then your interior line does a well enough job to protect.
What I do like is we blew a 27-0 lead with 4th and Staley. I got Jim Harbaugh this time. I like my chances. If it's a close game, I'm making the decision. That's one thing I do like. I don't have to worry about, oh my God, is he going to gamble a game now?
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
It's some NFL news. The Pats and Vrabel are already in contract talks to be the next coach.
Oh, okay. I don't like that for the AFC, but cool.
Nope. No.
Vrabel's a damn good coach, and guys will play for him. And I liked him as a player. I liked him as a defensive coordinator when he was in Houston. I hated him as a head coach with Tennessee, and I'm glad that Amy Adams fired him on a whim after he lost to the Houston Texans a couple seasons ago. But yeah, Carl says, is there a way that we can both lose? I don't think so. I think they just keep playing in the overtime rules.
Overtime, very much.
But yeah, there is a way we can both lose. Like if whoever wins in this close game advances, but they lose a key piece to injury, that's the way we can both lose.
But what both of our teams do have going into is have a great kicker. That's going to be a plus.
Yeah, I think Dicker's a little bit better than Fairbairn as of late, but yeah, definitely good percentages.
That's one thing the Chargers have not had in years is a decent kicker.
I think our coverage game and like return game has a slight edge there, but I think you have an edge in the actual kicking game. Kicker, so kind of evens out.
Something that does even out, but I was like, we got.
Yeah, these teams are very well matched. Like I said, I think that if you want to look at it either way, you have a tough defense guy. If you want to look at the secondary, you got Derwin James back there, who's like a hybrid. He'll probably be coming down into the linebacker spot.
Who's the beast that you have? Who's the beast with all the interceptions this year? Who's going to be on McConkey?
Well, I don't think Derek Stingley's going to shadow. He doesn't really follow, so they'll probably just keep him on one side. It may be Kamari Lassiter who plays the corner on the other side, but I'm hoping that they mix him in, and then they'll move another corner to the outside and not rely on somebody like Jeff Okudah or Miles Bryant to cover.
Here's my question: if they try to contain McConkey, don't let Quentin Johnson get him loose, because he gets loose.
And I think our secondary is actually
Herbert's safety blanket this year.
Yeah, I think our secondary is actually really, really played well. We have Derek Stingley with 5 interceptions. He's in the first team All-Pro.
He's been solid this year.
And then on the other side, you have like I said, Kamari Lassiter, and I think he has 4 interceptions. And then safety in the back, you have Kalen Bullock, and he has 4 interceptions on the season. He almost had 5, but they took one away from him, said he stepped out of bounds or something. I don't remember what it was. There's a flag, I don't know, but he's been playing well, and he's a definite ball hawk. So I like those 3 players. I'm just worried about the other slot player. Maybe we had Jimmy Ward, who's been out for the year now, so he's not that safety who would come down and play in the slot anymore. And then so I'm saying it's probably going to be like Miles Bryant, or I would say move Kamari Lassiter onto McConkey in those situations, and then have Jeff Okudah play outside on Quentin Johnson and hope for the best, or have Stingley, follow Johnson in those situations. And keep Okudah on whoever the third receiver.
Well, Josh Palmer's not playing. That's
right.
He's out. That's a loss in its own, because if you take out McConkey and you take out and quit QJ, usually Palmer's the guy. Now, hey, it's going to be see what receiver steps up as the third role today too.
Yeah, and that's what Carl said. I want you guys to say what you're most afraid of from the other team, and that's what we kind of started with. Lee mentioned Hunter and Will Anderson, and I was just saying, like CJ not showing up, but basically for me that means that defense, like I mentioned, guys like Derwin James, guys like Bud Dupree, who's the other one I'm missing? Well, just the defense in general. It's the number 1 scoring defense. That they only allowing on average 17 points per game. CJ Stroud's, I think, has been sacked like the 4th most in the league, or 2nd most in the league. They've given up 54 sacks, and a lot of those have been tacking on as of late. They've had a makeshift offensive line. So I'm worried about the defense, right? I'm not worried about our defense necessarily giving up too much versus the Chargers. I think that maybe they'll be able to semi-contain them. They're going to get theirs. I mean, there's no stopping it, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see how they try to go about and do it, and if they can get to Justin Herbert. I think that's the biggest thing. If they can get to Justin Herbert, the front four or whatever it is, and give some pressure, his percentages drop, a lot, just like CJ Stroud, right?
Yeah.
So it works both ways. I think it's not a question of if
it's when.
When they get to CJ, right? And so I think on the other side, right, it's if the Texans can get through and dial some stuff up and bring some pressure versus the Chargers. But I think there'll be some moments for both teams. It's just going to depend on it's going to be close, and it's going to come down to some plays, and I think we're going to get a really good football game this time.
Yeah, we are. And we go. I mean, I looking at it, I'm like, wow, yeah. And I was like, oh man, the Texans. I did not want anything to do with any other team. The Texans were a good matchup, I thought, for a first round.
Yeah.
No.
I'm cool with it. Like, nobody wanted to face Baltimore in round one.
No, I didn't want anything. I'm happy making the playoffs. I wasn't even dreaming playoffs this year. I was thinking next year.
Yeah, now we have an opportunity to watch a really good team. Yeah, and that happened to me last year as well with the Texans. You get a new coach, you get an infusion of some good stuff going on. It's contagious, and everybody buys into the system. Then it's different. Teams can start to get rolling, and so Chargers rolling at the right time. Texans hoping they can flip a switch. Peanut butter and waivers. Ayo, what's up out there? Cat for life said the Texans running back room was 5 deep at one point. Yeah, they had Cam Akers, who's been getting a run in Minnesota now. So. They flipped him for a 7th rounder. I don't like if they can't even use Damian Pierce because the offensive line is so bad. Then we did Cam Akers a favor, I suppose. Let's see. Shout out to Daniel Caps out there. He says, "What up? Good luck to both your teams. As a member of Raider Nation, I must cheer for Houston." Okay, there it is. Okay, understandable. Good. And it's fun to watch games and pick sides.
Well, speaking of the Raiders, they had a very impressive interview today with Ben Johnson.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and he was very high with what Mr. Brady presented to him today. So
yeah, Ben Johnson is the hot name on the block.
Well, if you look at that, you imagine Ben Johnson with that young team bringing in a brand new quarterback. You got Brock Bowers. That would be kind of scary. The AFC West is stacked as is. You bring in a quarterback and a decent coach. Yeah, they're
going to have a good pick. I don't know where they fell I think in the draft order.
They're top 5. I think they're top. Well, they
got to be about top 5. Well, there's a lot of teams hanging out there with like 4 wins, so I don't know how that shook out. I didn't really pay attention, but
yeah, because our teams are not involved.
Yeah. Reagan for Fatty says like Vrabel in New England. Yeah, for sure. Alan Karuki says Dicker is the better kicker. That just means the Chargers are failing to reach the end zone more. If that happens today, yeah, then possibly. But sometimes points, any points might win this one as well. Lee said it might be a high scoring affair. I'm on the other end where I think maybe this is a lower scoring affair for both sides.
I mean, it depends. I want to see how the first half plays out.
On how the quarterbacks show up, right? Exactly. And which versions we get for both sides. Because I think both quarterbacks are kind of similar. I want to say that CJ has hit that slump, but he's had some moments in some games where he is on. So it just depends on what you're going to get, right? But I think that versus one of the top scoring defenses, he's going to struggle today, and it's going to see how maybe if they change the game plan, or if maybe Bobby Slowick has finally figured out some plays. He's had stuff hidden, and he's going to finally bust him out for the playoffs. I don't know. But if you can't run your vanilla stuff well, I don't think you should be adding any new wrinkles into.
Well, I know you questioned Slowick's play calling a lot this year.
I do, and I have. It's been very stale, very vanilla. Some of the things he says in the press conferences don't even make sense. He says that they have an identity. I don't know what the Texans' offensive identity is. I know the defense is mean and fast, and they swarm and they try to take the ball away. I know that. I know that the kicking game is solid enough.
Yeah, the kicking game is solid. Yeah,
they have good returners and they have a good kicker and a good punter. And I know that the offense is mediocre, middle of the pack, shaky, and I don't know what version we get. From
exactly.
So that it's going to depend, and maybe it's like, okay, playoffs, let's flip the switch, let's show up, and then we're going to get a good game. If that doesn't happen, though, I think that the Chargers kind of handle this one easily. The Texans are trailing and fail to not get that last minute, great CJ Stroud come from behind, winning drive, because this is the number one scoring defense as of late. And they've been playing really well, and they've had good competition. They've had more wins than the Texans, and the quarterback's been playing better. So you check a lot of those boxes. I think the Chargers do have the slight edge, but I'm hoping that the offense shows up and we get a really good game.
That's all we're looking for, is a good game, and both teams come out healthy of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Alan says, fill in the blank. So-and-so will score a TD.
I'm going to say J.K. Dobbins.
Okay. I was going to go with I was going to say either J.K. Dobbins or Ladd McConkey out of the slot getting loose. I can't bank on the Texans scoring touchdowns. They average like 3 a game tops. I'm going to say this. If we have a chance to win this game and score more than 23 points, it's because the defense will take the ball away and score a touchdown or something of that nature. Because they've been doing that, sporadically throughout the season. So I do like the Texans' chances in winning football games when that happens.
I'm hoping for a good game from Derwin James. He's been playing well lately.
I got him in my fantasy league in one of those. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So Regan Fatty says, I can see Stingley hard on McConkey. Stingley normally doesn't follow wide receivers, right? But for this game, I can see it happen. It's weird because, like I said, I think McConkey plays a lot more in the slot, but they have been using him on the outside. So when he's on the outside, I would expect Stingley to just be on him in those situations. So we'll see what happens. If they don't move him to the outside and he's in the slot, then, we'll see what the Texans do to try to counteract that, and my guess would have been, you have Kamari Lassiter maybe in there, and then you flip one of the other guys to the outside. But I'm not really too sure what the plan is. I wasn't in at the practices. So King was the nickel CB, but he's on the Ravens practice squad, and he was not claimed by the Texans. So that would have been nice. Bring in a veteran and bring him back, somebody who's familiar. They should have done that, I think, but they've been making weird moves, in my opinion, since last offseason, paying guys like Titus Howard. And then he's not even playing right tackle anymore. He's playing left guard now with the new configuration. And you have Blake Fisher, who's a rookie, out on the right side, playing the right tackle now. And who's playing right guard? I want to say it's not Juice Scruggs, is it? Could be Patterson. Patterson may be playing center. But the configuration's all crazy. Who's the Chargers starting tight end? Says Kat.
That's going to be it's going to be Will Disley.
Oh, it's not. Or Smart was the guy's name.
Disley's all from his injury. He's better now, but
oh shit, Disley's back.
We got to have Stone as the backup, I believe.
Okay, so Disley's back. That kind of changes things. That's another person to worry about. He may be getting loose. Texans have had, some difficulty covering tight ends from time to time. So they did a good job versus Miami when they played Jonnu Smith. So. But he did get loose for one, and he got a touchdown, I believe. So, it happens. Got to watch out for that. I did not realize. I'm sure they're aware. Sir Bongslot, what's up? His advice means little. I just wish his art wasn't valued at 300%. Who are you talking about? I missed that one.
I hear there.
I jumped into this conversation over here with you. Bong, sorry, I don't know. What's up, Reagan? Isn't King the nickel CB?
Well, we also have Hayden Hurst, too. So we have Disley and Hayden Hurst.
Oh. See, I was unaware of your game, sir.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst, Will
Shout
Disley,
out to Clock.
Stone Smart.
Shout out Johnny Mittens. Clock says I need Zay Flowers to get on the field. It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, they're saying he possibly could be back next week. They're saying for Zay, hopefully. They're just saying luckily he avoided the serious injury, though, they're saying.
Oh, Ben Johnson's eyeing Jacksonville?
I don't know. I have no confidence in that Jacksonville owner. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. What's his con?
Con, yeah. Mr. What is it?
Mr. Con Man.
Yeah. He and his son are just a joke. I'm sorry. What's the most they've done in the past couple of years? Beat my Chargers in the playoffs and then pay Lawrence a shitload of money. That's not even worth it.
Yes. Rich talking about Tom Brady hitting up escorts, Ben Johnson going to the Raiders. Okay, I see. Justin said Miles said vanilla 3 times and I appeared. Regan said he heard the same about Dion.
Yeah, that's going to be a real interesting thing close to draft time, where his son lands and Where does Dion go? I was watching an interview and he said he's really happy in Colorado. But then again, money talks, and so do his sons.
yeah. That too, right? That too. That makes sense. So,
but he also did say in the interview he wants to coach both of his sons. I don't know if they can draft both of his sons, though. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that might be tough. Unless one of the other one goes undrafted, they can get him later. I don't know how.
Get it later. That's about it.
Trade up to grab him or something at some point. We'll see. Clock says Pierce scores a TD. Maybe, man. I don't know. They could get tricky. I think they need to get tricky with some of the play calling and like sneak Pierce in, maybe have him line up at fullback, and then Joe Mixon runs a route, and then you give Pierce the ball instead. Like do something that's looks different, but it's very simple still.
So who's your backup tight end besides Schultz? I know it's Schultz. Who is it? Is it Brevin Jordan? Is he there?
No, Brevin Jordan tore his ACL in week 2.
That's right.
We've really been missing him.
So who do you got?
He's explosive.
Is it Smith?
It's Cade Stover, but then he had appendicitis, and I don't know if he's been cleared to come back, or he had been back, and then I don't know. He may still be there. And then we do have Irv Smith, and I think he's the third string tight end.
Yeah, I did not even know on your team, but no.
Yeah, it's the tight end position.
When you look at teams, you see, you see the main players, and you don't
barely even see Schultz. I mean, he's been like they gave him $34 million extension or some shit, and then he puts up the worst numbers of his career basically this season. So I don't know what's up with that. Let's see. Will Disley anytime TD plus 400. I said screw it and threw 20 down on it. If it hits, it's $100. Okay, sounds good. That's a good deal. Here you go. Alan says Chargers win 24-20. LA gets 2 turnovers. Okay. I mean, that's something that I could see. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm talking about. CJ strip fumble, or like he throws a pick and then it puts the Texans in a bad spot where the defense has to give up, touchdown to Dobbins or somebody on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's going to be key. Whoever gets those extra possessions today is going to be key. And the turnover battle, that is key. That's right there.
What you got on the menu, Lee? That's my question to you. What are you eating for the game?
I did.
You already down?
Pre-huddle, I did a pizza.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I know I'm gonna do the huddle. Then I'm like, I'll probably get to jump on the live later on, so I want to eat beforehand.
Yeah, there you go. Rocking it and ready.
Too. I always like to eat before the game because I don't like to miss it.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm gonna give myself a little buffer time to heat up some chicken, some Korean barbecue chicken from down the street with some curly fries. We had that late last night, and there was a whole bunch of it, and I have all the spicy ones, and nobody eats that, so I still have like half a bucket left for myself. I was like, I'll just save this for the game. And I have my fake beers. This is a Special Effects grapefruit IPA, really cool, non-alcoholic.
There you go,
doing my thing. But yeah, that's how I'm pre-gaming. Ready to rock. Let's see. Will Disley, we talked about that. Anytime TD. Johnny Mitten says, I know Vrabel is the obvious choice for the Pats, but I'd love to see what Ben Johnson would do with Drake May.
I heard the interview went well with Ben Johnson in New England. I didn't hear anything of it. Everything I'm seeing is Vrabel.
I'm like, so my camera acts up because I have a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse, and then I have a USB microphone and then a USB camera. So the camera messes up from time to time. So just so everybody knows, that's what's going on. That's my situation right here. I told my wife I didn't need so much wireless stuff, but yeah, Quitoriano's back. I don't know if that really means anything, but yeah, he's back.
Yeah, that's true.
And shout out to Thanos Eisenberg. That's badass. That's such a badass graphic picture in the that's funny. I love it. Shout out to you on where are you at? You're watching us on Twitch, so either on Peacock or JD's Fantasy Hard Start channel.
Yeah,
appreciate you for dropping in and checking us out on the H-Town Huddle. Make sure you check out the GWN Network, where we do have other shows such as the Wake Your Game Up, live watch parties, etc. Yeah. The game is on CBS and Paramount Plus. There you go. I think you can also watch it on Prime, is what I heard.
Or the NFL Network. Yeah, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna just watch it regular antenna TV hooked up type of deal.
Well, I gotta get it on regular station because it's right here in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Shout out. So yeah, Lee and I are both in Texas, even though he's a Chargers fan. But yeah, here we go. Let's see. Need both kickers to get over 7.5 today for a bet. It could happen. It could be one of those where the defenses. I think the Chargers have one of the better red zone defenses, and the Texans have one of the worst red zone offenses. So you'll probably get some Fairbairn usage today.
Yeah.
So just hope he hits those. And then the Texans defense is just pretty stingy overall. So if they can keep him out of the red zone, then you'll probably get some Dicker usage. So that pause. Yep. Hard pause on that one. Dicker usage.
yeah, right. It's gonna
be. Johnny says Dion should stay in Colorado. Boulder is one of the best places in the world to live, and the town loves him. Okay. Boulder, not Denver, right? Denver's one of the worst places. Yeah. Cade Stover will get more yards than Schultz. Maybe. Might sneak him out and get creative with your pass catchers, right? That'd be pretty good. Clock says, I've heard the Seahawks assistant GM interviewing for some GM spots. All right. Good for thanks for the insider news.
Yeah, we get the Seattle news from
there. Cap food, yeah, man. I'm getting hungry. It's like 19 minutes to game time, so Lee and I will take any other questions from the chat that we can answer. I think we talked out our anxieties, so I'm ready to watch the game and not feel super nervous.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Superstition wise for me, I always were. For me, if we're wearing white today, I go. I like you. I have almost every single jersey in every single color.
Yeah, I got it in every color.
I stick to my. I love the powder blue.
That's a great color.
Occasionally go to the royal, but I don't know. I always have good luck in the powder blue.
There you go. No? Yeah, I don't remember how I've done in these for the last couple of weeks since I knew the Texans were in the playoffs. I just didn't wear jerseys on game day.
Well, I won one on both bits, so I got a brand new one. So I'm breaking in my brand new one.
It still has the tag on.
Yeah, I was just came in yesterday. I was like,
there you go.
And I was like, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm as a rocket today. Breaking
in. Wow, good stuff. Good.
No,
stuff.
I was on one of my Chargers groups, and then someone put up a. I answered a couple of questions, just trivia questions, and I won a Herbert jersey. I'm like, okay.
Oh, you won it. Nice.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
I won it. I was like, hello, thank you.
Oh, we're taking a look on the inside of the Houston stadium today, NRG Stadium. I don't think it's going to be in the red. This is from a video from a drone flyover from a couple of weeks ago when they played, I believe, Detroit, but I think they're going to be in dark navy, the pitch blues.
Oh, the pitch blue, yeah.
Yeah, like the jersey I'm wearing here, sort of, kind of, yeah. So that's probably what the end zone color will be, is my guess. So you said, I think that the Chargers are wearing white?
I believe so. Yeah, I think they were.
That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. It's a dark blue versus white, so... Kickoff just moments away, everybody. Grab your beers, grab your charcuterie boards, tell your kids to go to the other room.
And Nico Collins just went in the second round in the draft. I'm in with rigging with Fatties.
Yeah, there you go. He had the breakout season last season, so he's still in his prime. Just got extended, so you probably have a good 3 seasons that you want to maybe bank on, maybe longer, where he's still putting up some work, putting up some numbers. And the thing is, he really got stronger and faster this year as opposed to other years, way more physical. And that's because he's already 6'4", 200 and I don't know what pounds. As far as being a receiver, that's like Megatron-ish. So people don't really talk about how big he is, but yeah, he's a specimen of a wide receiver.
Yeah, he is.
Let's see. Johnny Mittens just turned some leftover ribs into some dope fried rice. Damn, that sounds badass. I know I can't stand the Chargers, but that powder blue is sweet. That's what Bogart said. Johnny Mittens, nice. Let's see. Brown's looking into avoiding Watson's $92 million contract. Yeah, Lee shared that with us earlier in the group chat. Derek says, tell your kids to go to the other room. He's laughing at that one. Yeah. Got to do what you got to do to enjoy the game sometimes. Now, my kids like to watch the game. Sometimes I just have to raise the volume and tell them to shut up or something. But
oh golly.
But I hate to they're there, and I hate to have them see me tilt. It's just the worst. You don't want to see your old man tilting his brains out. It's like, is this what my dad looks like if he was faced with a high pressure situation? I'm not even out on the field, but anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. 3:15. That's going to give me just enough time to grab some food. We had about a 40-minute show breaking stuff down. I think that was a pretty good one. Lee, I appreciate you for coming on.
Peacock, it was a pleasure. Hey, let it be a great game for both of our
Yes.
teams, man, and may the best team win and move on.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think
remember,
both of these teams are really good. I think that, in football, it's one and done. So it's just whoever is the best team today is the one that's moving on.
And after, whoever wins, I will.
Oh, yeah, we do.
25 to your charity.
That's right.
Lee and
I have a bet going. So St. Jude's, if the Chargers win, I will go ahead and make a donation in Lee's behalf, and then Doug Flutie's Autism Awareness Foundation. So we'll send the links either way, however it goes. But just a friendly wager between us two. And Collins was compared to Megatron physically going to the draft. His route running was the tree lacking. Yeah, and his routes have gotten better. I didn't even realize that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks for everyone tuning in for Peacock and I show. And
hell yeah,
later
man.
on.
Appreciate you. Let's go ahead and hit the short outro, and we'll see you guys. Enjoy the game.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.